Everybody, welcome back to Louisiana Homestead. Today we're going to be doing a red velvet cake, and this is a recipe that was given to my mother in 1977, which will put me at 5 years old, and it was given to my mother by my Aunt Annette, which is my daddy's sister, one of his sisters. He had many sisters and brothers. It looks like it was given to her on January the 4th. And this was always one of my sister's favorite birthday cakes. So this was Sandy's favorite birthday cake. And my mom would make it for her. I wouldn't say she made it every year, but she did make it for her several times because it was one of her favorite cakes. And I actually made it for her before as well, and so did my other sister. I've seen several red velvet cakes made on the internet, and a lot of them don't put nuts in the icing, but some of them do. Now, I love pecans in my icing, so we're going to make an icing like that. Also, I've noticed that all of them call for cocoa. Well, this one calls for Nesquik, which is different than I've seen in the other recipes. But this is the recipe that we love. So this is the recipe that I'm going to make for y'all today. Let's take a look at the ingredients and what's going to go into the cake. We're going to start with 4.5 tablespoons of the Nesquik, and we're going to mix that with the red food coloring. It's going to take 3 ounces of red food coloring, so it's not going to take all of what I have up there. And if you're using the concentrated gel, it'll take even less. It's also going to take 3/4 of a cup of butter or margarine. You could use either one. To that, we're going to add 2¼ cups of sugar and also 3 eggs. This is my yard eggs from my hens. The amount of flour is going to be 3¼ cups of plain flour, which we're going to sift it in a moment here. And we're going to sift it with the salt and the soda added to it. The salt is 1/4 teaspoon, and the soda is 1½ teaspoons. This is 1½ cups of buttermilk, whole fat buttermilk. We're going to use a mixer for this. And at the very end, after we have everything mixed together, we're going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla and 1.5 teaspoons of white vinegar. So let's get started. Let's get right into it. Okay, we're going to start with our Nesquik, and that's going to be 4.5 tablespoons. To that, we're going to add our red food coloring. It calls for 3 ounces. Look how red that is. Woo! Talk about red. 3. Add in our sugar. 2¼ cups of sugar. Now to that, we're going to mix in that lovely red food coloring with that Nesquik. And take this mixture and mix it right into this mixture. Add in. Mix these together. Now, I don't know if I had mentioned it before, but that butter was room temperature. You definitely don't want to try this with cold butter. All right, guys, we want to get that oven preheated to 350. So let's get that started now. Make sure there's nothing in the oven before we turn it on. 350, we want to get that nice and hot. And also another thing that I did was I got my pans ready. I have 3 9-inch cake pans that I oiled and floured. Let me show you one of them. Oiled and floured. And I did 3 of them like that. I didn't have 3 of the same size cake pans, but I had those that I had got some bread in before and I saved them. So I said, well, these will be perfect for this cake. So I'm using them. Use what you got, folks. That's what I do. Do it also. That's 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1.5 teaspoons of soda. So we're going to go on ahead and sift these together. Okay, so now we're going to start adding our flour, which has the salt and soda sifted into it. We're going to start adding it, alternating it with the buttermilk into this mixture. So the baking soda reacts with the acid in the vinegar, the buttermilk, and the cocoa to make this cake rise. Let's get it stirred up really well. You want to make sure you have your oven preheated and your pans floured and prepared ahead of time, because once you pour this vinegar into this batter, it's going to start making some bubbles, and we want to get that right into the pan when that begins to happen, and we want to get them right into the oven as well. So let's go on ahead. It's time now. It's time now to get it mixed in. So let's get moving. There's our vinegar, 1.5 teaspoons. Mix that in, fold it in. And we're also going to mix in our 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. And once we get this folded in pretty well, we're going to get them into the pans and we're going to get them right into the oven. I'm going to try and eyeball this and get this, look at this batter, guys. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, yeah. Okay, let's get them into these pans. Okay, guys, they look even enough to me. The oven's preheated. Let's get them in. I like to add my little tuna can that I have here with some water in it and put that on the second shelf. That's going to help to keep some moisture going in the oven while that's baking. We'll see y'all in 30 minutes. See you then. Okay, I checked the cake at 30 minutes and it wasn't quite done, so I put 5 more minutes on it. Let's check it and see if it's done now. Yep, it's done. they're done. 35 minutes is what it took to bake these. We're going to go ahead and get these cakes out so that they can be cooling on a rack. I've gone along the edges of them with the knife just to make sure they don't stick on the sides. And what I'm going to do to make sure they don't stick on the bottom is a little trick that I learned, and hopefully it'll work. You tap the pan like this all the way around, and that's supposed to unlodge it from the bottom. Let's see if it worked. 1, 2, 3. Yep, it worked. I've got about 2 cups of pecans chopped up in this bowl. On this cutting board here, I have about another 1/2 cup. I'm going to use this one to decorate the sides of the cake with, but these are going to go into the actual frosting. So to make the frosting, we're going to use 8 ounces of cream cheese, a stick of butter, and we're going to start with a cup of powdered sugar, and we're going to start mixing those in. But what I'm going to do first is cream these together. Alright, we're going to add some powdered sugar. You see all those little lumps? You don't want that in your frosting. You want it to be smooth as possible. This stuff sifts a little bit differently than flour does. If you move it and push it at the same time, it goes through a lot quicker. Now, you know, if I put that mixer in here, we're going to have a cloud. So I'm going to mix it in some with my spoon first. I think that's a good thing to do. And then we'll put the mixer into it. I have a little whipping cream, and I'm going to add just about a tablespoon into it. To soften it up and make it a little more creamy. Oh yeah. That definitely did it. And I want to add that vanilla also, about a teaspoon. Okay, it's looking good, smelling good. It's going to take a lot of frosting to cover those cakes. It's going to take more than what I see in this bowl here. I can see that already. So I need to do me some more of this powdered sugar sifting. And like I said, just move it and push. Move and push. Now watch, as I mix it, we're going to go from yellow to white, even though I haven't added anything else into it. Just the air mixing into it is going to turn it more of a white color. Now, if you don't like pecans, you don't have to put them in. This is your cake. Make it how you want.
For me, I love pecans, so I'm going to be adding a bunch of them into the frosting, and I'm even going to be putting some on the side to decorate it with. So I'm about to add my pecans in. I'm going to just fold them in. I'm not going to try to mix that in with my mixer. And now I'm just going to fold my pecans in. Boy, that does look good. And let's put the last little bit in. Boy, that's going to make a yummy frosting. And it's going to be so pretty on that red cake, that white icing. Just have to whip it long enough and it'll turn nice and white for you, even though it has that yellow butter in it. See how beautiful that is? Very nice. So now we just have to wait for these to cool completely, and then we can lay that frosting on there, slather it on nice and thick, and then we'll decorate it a little bit and we'll have a piece of it. I can't wait. I can't wait. But you know what? While I am waiting, I noticed that my frosting is a little on the loose side. I would like it a little bit thicker whenever I do put it on the cake, so the cake doesn't just like slide off of the next layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this in the refrigerator until I am ready to frost my cakes, and that's going to thicken it up just enough to where we won't have any problems with the cake slipping around.
I'm going to have the recipe printed up for y'all at the end of this video, where you can just pause on it and write everything down very simply. Also, I hope y'all cut me some slack because I am taping from in my actual kitchen. I don't have a studio like some folks might have a studio, but I don't. I just film right here in my kitchen that I've been preparing meals for my family for the last 20-25 years. So I don't have a lot of fancy equipment. I don't have anyone to come before me and set all my ingredients out. I have to do all that. I'm the camera person also, and I try to get everything right and bring y'all a good recipe that I have used before, so it's tried and trusted. But just remember that I'm not coming to you from a studio. I don't have a director or a producer or a cameraman or anything. That all is on me. So if I get some things wrong or I spill a little flour or make a little mess, I hope that y'all will take that into consideration. Okay, it looks like that little bit of time in the refrigerator while we was waiting for the cakes to cool did firm it up a little, did firm our icing up a little, so that's good. We're ready to get started. I'm going to put our first cake down and start laying some frosting onto it. We're gonna, you know what I want it to do? I'm gonna put a little bit down here to keep that cake from sliding and moving. I feel like a filling with those pecans in it. I am definitely, yeah, I don't always have my lighting perfect in here. Probably very far from perfect actually. But I do the best I can with what I've got. It doesn't taste that sweet, in other words. Okay, let's see if we can get some of these pecans on here. I'm gonna do, my idea is to do them just at the bottom of the cake. They call it a skirt, where you just do some of the pecans at the bottom, or your decoration. Some people use the red crumbs off of the cake. I even seen one guy he baked a cupcake. Besides just the cake layers, he did a cupcake also. And he crumbled it all up, and he did what I'm doing, but with the cupcake instead of the pecans. And it was so pretty. And he put more red food coloring in it than he did his cake. So it made a striking design. Ooh, this is messy. Okay, let's hope we make it around here with our little skirt. Looks like we're barely gonna make it. Okay, I need to wash my hands. It looks pretty fantastic to me. It's time to cut the cake.
Let's see what we got here. I know this is a big old cake. Mr. E.
Yeah.
You want to taste this cake?
Come.
What you think about it?
It looks delicious.
Boy, it's red, huh?
Well, it's not a green velvet cake. You taste it?
Nope.
I'm the first
I'm
one.
gonna let you be the first one to taste it.
That's cream cheese icing, right?
Yep, cream cheese and
love
pecans.
cream cheese icing.
It's got butter in the icing
I
also.
love cream cheese icing. You remember the praline cake? Dangerous?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
This is dangerous too. Might have something to do with the pecans, but I don't know. And the cream cheese icing. It's amazing. If if Miss KK keeps cooking this, it ain't gonna be Mr. E. It's gonna be Mr. Big E. You're gonna kill me. It's awesome, y'all. I'm telling you, it's scrumptious. I gotta eat supper before I do any more of that, because I'm gonna eat all that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. This, you could definitely ruin your appetite with a cake like this.
Oh yeah.
And we didn't eat supper yet, guys, so we're just tasting right now, but I'm gonna taste it too.
It's scary, I'm serious. Oh Lordy, that's good.
It's such a big hunk of cake. Mm-hmm.
Get some cold milk.
Yeah.
Maybe that is supper. It ain't gonna be supper.
Oh, wow. Yes.
It's the best. It is.
That is so good.
It's one of the best I ever ate.
I always loved this cake. This is like one of my favorite cakes when I was growing up.
It's we thought that other one was the best, and it's one of the best, that pecan praline, but
Aunt Annette gave this recipe to Mama in 1977.
well, there's red
And she's
velvet
been
cakes.
baking it ever since then.
There's
So
red
it's
velvet
been-
cakes all over, but this one's awesome.
It's different because it's made with the Nesquik. All the other ones is made with just plain cocoa, but this one is made with the Nesquik, and
Well.
it makes a difference.
Y'all get y'all some. Yeah. Tell you.
So good.
Don't eat no more, Mama.
Okay, I gotta eat stuff for y'all.
Yeah.
But
We gotta
really, I could eat this whole piece of cake and
I don't
another
wanna
piece
quit.
right now.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna eat it later, promise you. Okay, let's tell them bye. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
I hope y'all subscribe and like, give us a big thumbs up,
And,
and share it.
yeah, do all that for us, and thanks for spending time with us. Y'all go make that cake, I'm telling you. It's good.
It's so good. Bye, y'all.